Hey harmonizers, welcome to this video of a Secret update. This is Secret, a thoroughbred that I got as a weanling and getting her started under saddle. This is a little update of her progress because I haven't posted about her in a while. And this is when Katie was working with her. Katie was a student that came over from Poland to spend some time with me and learn about horses a little bit more in the training process. And she loved getting to do a lot of these first pieces with the horses to learn how to do the foundational work. And a key part of the foundational work for me is making sure that horses know that your legs don't just mean go, but they can actually cue your horse to mean different things. And so that's what Katie's doing right now, is she's working on moving Secret's different body parts to make sure that Secret isn't upset or just thinking go, 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 go when the legs are applied. Same thing with the reins, that they don't just mean whoa, they can direct different body parts. And so you can see like that was a beautiful haunch turn, meaning that Secret didn't move her back legs and she was just moving her shoulders. And this is also a foundational piece for progressing horses with a lot of different things, like whether you want to do dressage and you want to get to more lateral movements, or let's say you want to work on fine lead changes, or if you want to go into obstacle challenges. No matter what it is that you want to do with your horse, learning how to move these different body parts can really help them be set up for success later on, even in terms of working on their symmetry, their balance, their rhythm, all of those pieces, super helpful. And here you can see she's doing some beautiful sideways and understanding all of these buttons as well. So since the last video I posted for you guys, which was her just kind of getting the walk going, now things are a lot better. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys progressing into her trots under saddle, as well as her first canter while being ridden as well. So you'll see how we do that with Miss Secret. So here was a little trot to show you her going into that, but then also kind of showing you how it's not always beautiful when they're learning. She did a few steps and then Secret's pretty sure that she should stop and get a cookie right about now. And Secret's not really sure that she should actually keep going forward. So she's trying all of her other little dance moves with some sideways, and she's trying to figure out, like, how do I earn this cookie? Like, you don't actually want me to trot an entire lap around the arena, do you? And it's like, yes, Secret, like we actually want you to do more than 10 steps, which is just to me an adorable little thing of her figuring out how to please, like what is the question that is being asked of her. And I would much rather a horse be doing things like that than doing dirty little tricks trying to get rid of their rider. I'd rather them be thinking, how do they please the rider and earn that cookie? But you definitely have moments where they get confused, they stop. It's not always beautiful. And so it's important to just kind of keep that in mind, that we keep our expectations really realistic when we're working with horses, looking for little moments of progress, rewarding them when they're getting on the track that we're asking them to do. So that way they know that when I ask and you try, I reward. And so it's a win-win for both of us here. And so little bits that when, she gets stuck or she gets wiggly and isn't really sure what's going on, that we're just slow, consistent, patient. And I really try to encourage people to have that attitude and that energy of, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to help you understand, but like, you can do this. I know that you can figure it out. I know that it's going to be okay. And we're going to be able to accomplish this together. Because if the horse starts to say no and you give up too quickly and you're like, oh no, I'm asking for too much. My horse doesn't understand. Oh no, this is not going to be good. And we have that negative fortune telling. And then we start to then change what we're asking the horse to do. Then the horse can start to believe all of that self-doubt as well of like, oh, see, I knew I couldn't do this. I knew you couldn't help me do this. I knew we shouldn't do it. And then they're going to start to say no even more often, just because they're going to be believing that negative self-talk of like, we can't do this. So it's important to have that attitude of we can, but it's also important that we think about what we're asking a horse to do before we do that. So as best as we can, we want to try to think, okay, like, is this a task that's reasonable for my horse with how they're doing physically, with how they're doing mentally, with how the environment is going on? But of course, there's going to be things that happen out of your control, or there's going to be things that can confuse the situation a little bit. Now, Secret was showing us that she was ready to do pole work, so we added those in, and she seemed to really enjoy doing the poles, was pretty eager to just go over them and maintain that rhythm, and it really started to teach her striding. So I thought, you know what? she is ready to do some canter work. So this is a video clip. I apologize that it is not the best video footage, but it is the camera just set up on a jump standard so that way we could film her first canter. And because I am lunging Katie, we didn't have somebody extra to film, so that's why it's a little bit of wonky footage. But I wanted to show you this process of putting the ground cue together because Secret knows how to lunge, to add a rider in, and we've done all of the steps of the walking, the trotting, the pull work, moving her different body parts like shoulders, hips. Like, we've done so much work to build Secret's confidence that now we did the cantering on the lunge line. So that was the first ever canter under saddle, and it went incredibly smoothly, really easy. You can see Katie's giving her lots of praise. We want Secret to feel like a superstar, and we just kept it very similar to how we were lunging her for the canter. So that way it was very much the same. I didn't want to do just a couple strides and then stop her because her rhythm looked really well, like really good and comfortable and relaxed. And sometimes if you do just a couple strides, then they stop during tension rather than relaxation. So it's a little bit of a fine balance of knowing how much to ask for. But she did that side really, really well. So now we're going to change direction and go the other way. And the goal of the rider is mostly to sit like a potato and just kind of go with the horse. Like, you're just kind of like a rag doll up there while I cue from the ground. But if you need to, you can definitely stop your horse. But most of the cueing and everything is just coming from me on the ground to make sure that the horse isn't overwhelmed. And you can see Secret's confused, goes out of the frame for a little bit there. And eventually, with some patient persistence, she finds that canter, gets a little bit of that rhythm going. And totally understandable. It's, learning is messy. When they're learning new things, it cannot always look beautiful, but she figures it out. She gets her canter going, does some nice strides, and then she's going to stop and get some cookies and praise and be told that she's super wonderful, because we want to reassure Secret that she's doing the thing that we asked her to do. So she's getting lots of praise there. And then after that, we decided we'll try a canter not on the lunge line. So here's a little video clip of that. Again, kind of tricky footage because Katie's doing the riding and then starts to ask for the canter, but I'm on the ground following and politely cueing from the ground with the same cues from my hand signals that I would do if I was lunging her. And then Secret puts the two together and she's like, oh, okay, you want me to canter. So they just canter down to the long side and then they're going to stop and get a cookie down there. So let me know what you think of Secret and her progress for riding. Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.